All right, let's talk about the alphabet soup of modern business. You know what I'm talking about, all those acronyms that get thrown around. Today, we're going to crack the code on what they all mean, because it's how companies today strategize, operate, and connect with all of us. Let's dive in.
So you've definitely seen these letters floating around: B2B, B2C, D2C. It's so easy to just kind of glaze over and think, okay, more corporate jargon. But what if I told you they're actually way more important than that?
Because, you see, this isn't really about memorizing acronyms. It's about understanding the very language of business itself. This is the secret code that tells you who a company sells to, how they think, and where they're trying to go in the future.
So let's start with the two absolute pillars of commerce, B2B and B2C, business to business and business to consumer. Just about every sale you can possibly imagine, it falls into one of these two big buckets.
First up, we've got B2B. Honestly, this is the invisible engine of our economy. Think about the company that makes the microchips for your phone or the software your office uses every day. These are massive transactions happening between two businesses, and it's all about function, efficiency, and getting the job done.
Okay, this is where it gets really fascinating. Look at the difference here. A B2B sale, it's all driven by logic, right? What's the return on investment? It's a formal, often slow process, and the goal is to build a long-term partnership. But B2C, that's the world of selling to you and me. And that's all about emotion, desire. It's often impulsive, individual, and it's about fulfilling a personal need or want. So think of it this way: logic versus emotion. That's the heart of the divide.
But then, along came the internet, and a whole new model just exploded onto the scene and changed all the rules. And that was the D2C, or direct-to-consumer, revolution.
Now, to really get why D2C was such a game changer, you have to see how things used to work. The old way was this long, complicated chain. The manufacturer made something, then sold it to a distributor, who then sold it to a retailer, who finally sold it to you. Every single step added time, cost, and a whole lot of distance between the maker and the buyer.
And boom, look at that. The D2C model just slices right through all of that noise. It uses technology to create a direct highway from the manufacturer straight to you, the consumer. All those middlemen? Gone. It's a beautifully simple and powerful shift.
So the key takeaway here is that D2C is the digital age's solution to that clunky old system. It's all about a brand saying, you know what? We're taking control. We're going to own our customer relationship from the very first click to the final delivery.
And the perks? Oh, they are huge. Economically, you get rid of those distributor markups, which means your profits go way up. You get total control over your brand's story and the customer's experience. You get direct access to incredible customer data, what they like, what they don't, and that leads to this amazing strategic advantage. You get instant feedback, so you can constantly get better and better. It's the whole idea of kaizen, continuous improvement baked right into the model.
Of course, the business world isn't just about companies selling to you or to each other. There are other major players out there, and they have their own models too.
For example, B2G, or business to government. Now, this is a whole different beast. Selling to the government means navigating a maze of complex rules, very formal proposals, and incredibly high standards. It's a world built on long-term, large-scale projects and a ton of attention to detail.
And then there's C2C, consumer to consumer, which is basically the engine of the entire sharing economy. We're talking about platforms like eBay, Etsy, or Airbnb. Here, technology has turned all of us into potential sellers, creating these huge marketplaces where we can buy and sell directly from each other. It's really democratized commerce in a big way.
Okay, so let's put it all together. This little chart is the perfect cheat sheet. B2B runs on logic. B2C runs on emotion. D2C is all about direct control. B2G is defined by regulation and formality, and C2C is built on that peer-to-peer connection. You can really see how each model has its own unique DNA, right?
But, and this is the really cool part, here's where it all gets messy. In today's world, those neat, clean lines we just drew are starting to get very, very blurry.
This quote from the source material absolutely nails it. In the modern world, the boundaries between models are blurring. The game is no longer about picking one lane and staying in it.
And you see this happening everywhere. A giant B2B company that sells, construction equipment suddenly launches a D2C website to sell spare parts directly to customers. Or a huge B2C brand starts using a C2C platform like Etsy to connect with a cool niche audience. The lines aren't just blurring, they're being totally redrawn into these new, fascinating hybrid strategies.
So that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. If the boundaries between all these models are already dissolving, what's next? What's the next big disruption? What's the next acronym that's going to come along and define the future of how we all do business? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.